Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Playing in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So tell all your people that we talk about cars, trucks, anything you put gas in. We talk about it here. I got my man Ray, Motor Mouth Radio. What's up,
Yep,
Ray?
Lewis, that's right. And like you said, we're here every Thursday. People can take that as a promise or a threat
There
because
it
we will be back again.
is.
If we got to dig ourselves out of the easy chair like I did, we'll be here.
Yeah.
So,
So today I was out in the mountains
okay,
of Arizona. It's so much stuff to do to see different stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm in the Jeep, and I've been through some pretty rough trails, man. I haven't put in 4-wheel drive yet. It
no.
just climbs, yeah. It runs pretty good through the trails.
So, what's the composition of the earth that you're traversing?
Um, it's
Rocky,
like
sandy.
yeah, rocky, real rocky.
Okay,
Like where we're at here in Arizona is all rock, and it's the mining area. So it's like it's weird. It's like a little bit of sand, but mostly rock.
okay. So, what type of tires are on the Jeep?
I got all season BF Goodrich.
Oh, all seasons. Okay, so you're not really running a rocky off-road kind of
No,
blocky tire.
nope.
I did the same thing with my FJ when I bought tires for it. I mean, I'm nowhere near a mountain on Long Island. I mean, I'm near sand, but I'm not going to be driving on it. Um, so I wanted kind of a hybrid tire.
Hmm.
So I was tempted to go with the real just straight up street tire. But I said, I'm blacking out the wheels. The truck is black. It's not going to look it's not going to look as tough. So I went with a BF Goodrich that's kind of a hybrid. It does have sort of a blocky tread, but it's not noisy on the road, and it doesn't, I found no detriment at all. And when I am in the snow like we are now, I basically just climb anything.
Hmm.
So tires make a big difference. But I think what you have is you have probably a very advanced tire in that Jeep that's letting you get some bite.
Yeah, so I had a little bit thicker knobbies on it, but they were so loud, man. I couldn't handle it. You
That's
could
what I
barely
did.
talk to your person next to you.
Yeah, that's what I didn't. I mean, I get next to some trucks, and with the windows up, you can hear their tires singing at you. Like, how does this guy drive that thing, man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When we first bought it, man, I was like, as soon as I get home, these tires are coming off.
yeah. I
Yep.
mean, I got it on the other end. My when I got the truck, the tailpipe that comes off the muffler goes into a resonator and then a tip, and that was broken off, so it was a little noisy. So we stick welded it in place. I thought it would last like 3 weeks, but it lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
And last year, it finally broke off again. So now I just took the whole damn pipe off, chucked it. So I'm running with just cats to the muffler, and it
Okay.
does have a drone to it. So
Cool.
I'm thinking like, one of these days I should get a cat back system for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was showing my wife. There was one at the store the other day. I was like, "Yeah, this is what Ray drives." I was like, I wanted to get one, but they were out of my price range. You know, Ray got different checkbook than we do.
Well, not it's not only that. I got a good friend in the business, and he knew I wanted one. And when it came up, my buddy at the shop, they got it as an impound,
Oh
and
yeah.
and he said to me, "Listen, I know you wanted one of these. If you want this one, we'll make a deal. It's yours. I'll make it fair." And he goes, "If not," he says, "I know I can sell it, and I know I can make money on it, especially for what I don't even know what he paid for it, and I didn't ask. I'm sure he gave me a low ball figure,
Hmm.
and I'm sure he was making money even at that level, which, and
Nice.
he was happy to do that. I know he could have made more than he sold it to me for, and." And he says, "Listen," he says, "if you have this thing for a month or whatever, a week, a year, and you don't like it," he goes, "flip it, make money." He goes, "Don't think I'm going to feel bad about it." He goes, "That's the business." He goes, "If it's
Hmm.
yours, you do what you want with it." And a lot of guys don't ever say that. A lot of guys take offense. You sell them a car, then they sell it and make money, and a lot of guys get really ticked off.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I mean, I was in love with it before I even took it. So I said, "No, dude, I'm thank you, but I'm keeping it." And the only downside is I had to take a salvage title.
Hmm.
And I asked a buddy of mine that was in the police department. I said, "What's the best way to counteract that in the future if I ever have trouble?" And he says, "Documentation." He says, if you can show that the vehicle was not a recovered stolen, where it was ripped apart, it wasn't a recovered total, it wasn't bought out of a junkyard, it wasn't a flood car. He says, you're ahead of the game. I said, well, yeah, this was literally impounded because the guy didn't pay parking tickets and the police impounded it and then they sold it off. He goes, yeah, that's fine. He says, anybody in their right mind knows that that's a clean impound. So, not that I may ever sell it, but just in case.
I wonder why they made it a salvage title. That's weird.
Because when the shop took possession of it, well, they bought it. They bought it from the PD. I guess they auctioned the stuff off. They got it without a title. The owner wasn't going to hand them over the title. He didn't hand them over the keys either. So they had to, we had to put locks in it, change the keys, change the locks, and we didn't have a title. So the shop had to apply for a title. Under the shop because it was an impound, and they didn't. I don't think they applied for the title. They did the documentation, went to the state, had it all, checked out, gave me that paperwork, and when I registered it, that paperwork was good, to show that the car was. It's almost like if somebody gives it up, like it was impounded, so the guy, had to give it up. So
those nice vehicles.
Yeah, I love it, man. I was just telling my wife today. I said, she said to me, she goes, you think we'd ever drive this thing down to North Carolina? I said, we could. And this last trip, we were just complaining about, we had a, what the hell was it? It was a Ford Edge. And, it was a fairly big SUV. I was only getting like 25 miles to the gallon tops on the highway, which I think is atrocious.
Yeah.
These days, you got to be getting over 30. So, and I know the FJ is only good for like 21, on the highway.
But you're comfortable.
I said, you know what? We could take the FJ. I said, we're going to make more gas stops. I like doing it with only one stop. I said, we'd have to make a couple of gas stops. I said, but the money we pay for in gas is a lot less than we'd pay for the rental. Because we're paying for the rental and the gas. So, one day, maybe we'll do it. I don't know.
That's good. Yep.
After I put exhaust on it.
Yeah. So we're out here, and everybody out here has side by sides.
Right.
And they're allowed to drive them on the street out here. So I'm thinking, I was like, yeah, maybe we should get a side by side for next year and bring it out to Arizona. And I started thinking, I was like, I got one of the best off road vehicles you can get that we pull behind us already. So why not lift it a little bit and put some off road stuff on it and just bring it out here next year and go crazy with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of what you're doing. You're molding and modifying the plan every step of the way. And you just make the next time out, it's going to be that much better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to put those big knobby tires on. I think I might bring them with me, and when I get out here, switch them.
Okay.
Then go out in the desert and do our stuff, and then when we get ready to leave, switch them back.
Right.
I think that's an option,
Sure.
Yep. So that might be a plan for next year, but we're definitely coming out here every winter because this is beautiful. We love it.
So they go for some. I mean, how many different configurations can you buy them in? Engine wise and whatever.
I know they're coming out with the Hemis in them. You can go to Hemi VH. Yeah, I mean you can get them hopped up pretty good.
Wow.
Brian told me don't buy it because of the motor, so I'm waiting for it to blow up so he can come help me put a LS or a Hemi in it. Right,
Brian? All right, I got you.
So I don't know if it goes. I don't know. We'll put something in it.
Okay.
And it's gonna have to be something juiced up though, because I can't have these 4x4s running by me or side by sides.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I got to show them, who's boss out in the dirt.
Yeah. That's funny. Good stuff.
Let's get Brian in. Like he got a cold too.
Hey guys, what's up?
My nose blowing friend. Look at you.
Yeah.
Did you catch it from me when we talked the other day? Is that it? Is that
what?
You passed it on to him?
When we were talking, because I've been blowing my nose like crazy. I've been getting all sorts of crazy stuff.
I sneezed, man, dude. I'm doing good.
Oh, I've had some hellacious sneezes. I mean, some sneezes I could probably bruise a rib.
Yeah.
You know. Oh,
Yep.
So Brian, you ain't gonna help me put my LS in the Jeep?
No, last.
Hey, it's the cheapest route. I mean,
Oh yeah, it always is LS.
yeah. I just happen to have one in the garage,
There you go.
waiting to go somewhere.
where'd that come from, Louis?
Parts from a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Terry gave me some stuff. Tori,
Okay.
Tyler, everybody chipped in, threw some parts at me.
Nice.
Yep. So
It's
that's a
crazy.
project when I
This
get
weather,
home.
man. This weather is insane.
Yeah,
What is it there?
12. It's 12 degrees.
Yeah, we're at 23. I'll tell you that storm. I've been watching this meteorologist dude on YouTube, and I mean he's right on the nose. Yesterday he showed how the front is going all the way down to I-10, all the way down to I-10, and
Texas.
then it's kind of wrapping around the Carolinas from Charleston, South Carolina, over, through Charlotte and Raleigh, and it's saying about 6 inches of snow in that area. But there's another front pushing down, and his theory was, he goes, I think he followed all the different models, the European model, the American model, and there's one more, I forget what he calls it, it's initials, and the American model is always wrong. It's always fucking wrong, and I don't know why they even bother talking about it. But he said the European model has it moving, and it's going to come up the coast, obviously, but this other front, he says, is going to come in the back of it and bump it and move it out to sea. He says, and it all depends how much force it has when it moves it. It may miss a lot of the East Coast and be an ocean storm and then hit. So yesterday he had us, well, he had you guys getting snow too, but he had Long Island, the city in Long Island, the western part getting maybe like 1 to 3 inches, and the east end getting more, which always happens. It hits the east end of Long Island and then ricochets over into, the upper.
I thought it was funny because, earlier in the week, that's all he talked about, that we were going to get slammed again. And then it got kind of quiet, and they don't say nothing now, that they actually on our weather, on the weather, it was like, oh, it's, going to be, 22 or 20. We still haven't gotten above freezing sometime until next week.
Oh, we won't till next week. No, but what he showed was, now today I'm seeing even the regular news station around here, News 12, is showing exactly what he predicted, which yesterday they were saying we were going to be buried. Yeah. And now they're saying, you know what, as of tonight, as of about 7 o'clock, they said, yeah, Western Long Island and the city is going to get a dusting to an inch. And they had it, Jim will appreciate this, they had it from about Islip out as heavier. Now they moved it out to, was it Patchogue? I forget. They moved it further east. So the storm is now projected to go further out into the coast. So that'll help you too, Brian. I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't say what your projection was, but it'll be less. But I think my daughter's still getting 6 inches in North Carolina, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Move south to get away from the snow. Yeah, right.
I came back at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, some parts of the West is getting snow too. Like Phoenix, I think, got some snow.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all, I don't know.
Well,
but the idiots here.
Dallas got snow.
Yeah.
Well, Dallas typically gets snow. You ever watch a TV show? Didn't you ever watch Dallas? They always had their shielding coats on, and Jock was out there in the snow with the cattle and all. Dallas is north enough where they will get snow. Houston, on the other hand, doesn't usually get snow. But that's what I know about Texas.
Well, it was kind of chilly here today. It was 72.
Oh boy. Yeah, my heart purple piss. I had to go out in the garage to put some tools together for a job I got to do on the old cruise again. And man, the stuff is cold out there.
I bet.
I want to do my torque wrench in just to warm it up.
Wow. It's warm out here, but at night it drops down in the 50s. But it's a weird cold, man. It's like bone chilling.
Really?
When the sun goes down, it gets weird.
Yeah. Desert cold is. I mean, people have a lot of trouble in the desert at night. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to get caught out in it, in the dark.
No, they warn people about that all the time. Campers and hikers, they would
Yeah.
say, just because it's like, summer, it's July, June, or whatever. No, you got to have like a thermal blanket or something. It gets.
Mhm.
I've never experienced that, so I can't say firsthand, but.
And it's crazy. As soon as the sun goes down across the mountains, it's get cold fast.
Yeah, it's like someone just pulls the curtain, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But I ain't complaining because I'm feeling for you guys in the north.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, listen, I was driving around my wife saying, I told her, we grew up with this stuff. I mean, we grew up with snow. We grew up with, the ice. This is the worst of the worst. We had the snowstorm. We had a second snowstorm. Okay, that got cleared. But then we had the sleet. And that just put that frosting on everything. And that's always the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And that's what we got hit with. This new thing they're talking about, the other storm is called a bomb cyclone. That happened a couple of years ago. I think there was a weather reporter on one of the major channels who I thought he made the word up, but apparently he didn't. But it sounded like he did, and he was like, "It's a bomb cyclone." I was like, "What?" So I don't know.
So Brian, how's your truck doing the snow and ice?
It's all right. I mean, it doesn't like it. I mean, I tell you, it gets. You'd be surprised, but you'd think, with the weight and everything, but it if it hits it wrong, you're going for a little slip.
Well, that's the physics part of it. If
Right.
you took let's say you took a brick, or if you took a cinder block, it's look at that's even. I don't even want to use that example. Look at what do you call it? Freaking Boy Scouts, the cars, the what do you call that, Jim?
Oh,
The races. You
The
build
pine box.
Pine box, Pinewood Derby. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was always the thought. I mean, when I was doing this, I used to do this with my kids. I did it with my nephew, and I used to judge the comp. Anyway, I got really deep into the physics of it, and some guys would say build the lightest car possible because it'll go faster and it'll slip through the air faster. And other people said, no, build the heaviest car possible because it'll have more mass. And if you do a drop test, it's mass times acceleration equals it's mass times distance equals acceleration, and both of them work on different levels. On that scale, it doesn't really help because they're so small. But so the thought is, if you had a Volkswagen and you slid, maybe you wouldn't hit the curb, or you'd bump the curb. But if you had the tool truck and you slid, the mass of it, bang, tip it over. So
like I said, it's funny because I've had this happen multiple times throughout the 20 plus years. But I remember the one time that I parked, it was literally on ice, to say, and I got out, slammed the door on the truck to walk into the shop, and the truck started sliding down the parking lot.
Oh God.
I've had that happen.
And there's other cars. I mean, there's other things around that didn't do that. And it's just like you said, it's you would think that, it's so heavy that it doesn't do, but it's, like I said, it's a little tricky. But I was out Monday. I was out the next day. I mean, I was out Monday. And
how'd that work out for you on Monday? Was it were there any people there?
Well, I had 3 or 4 shops that were open. It wasn't spectacular, but I do kind of like because you have you do have some one-on-one time with shop owners. They're like some of the places I was, they were the only ones there, and they're like, "What? You're out? You're crazy!" And you talk, and you kind of build a better connection with them. And
I thought that was the stuff that happened after hours when the cards and the bottle came out.
Yeah, well, I've had that happen too, but again, the only, I joke about it a lot. I used to get like everybody else, you go crazy and buy all kinds of shit that you don't really need. Because I mean, we are in the city basically. It's not like we're out in the middle of nowhere, which is a different story. But when someone like the wife said something, maybe we need to. I said we're only 12 inches for freedom. And she looks at me. She goes, 12 inches from freedom. I said, that's all it takes is to knock the ice barrier down to the main road. I'm on a main road. So once the snow plow goes by, I just had to dig out from the driveway to the road.
Right.
And I'm out. I'm on a major. So that's, I saw the Snap-on guy today. And this was like his first day out since all this, because he parks his truck on a lot and it hadn't been dug out and he couldn't get it. And of course, him getting down from where he lived to where he's coming from, he's like, man, I wish, I had your situation, because I'm always out. And he's, if he does make it out sometimes, he's only in his personal car. And, and people, they'll give him a hard time, like, well, Brian's out in his truck. Why aren't you? Blah, blah, blah.
Good.
Yeah.
Because Brian was the guy who was retired and I'm not working anymore.
Yeah, right. Remember, Brian, remember you told everybody that,
Yeah.
I'm not really, my truck's really not broken or whatever.
Right,
but again. So that's one thing over the time living where I live. I only had, once I break through the ice wall, I'm on the other side. So
right.
And I just wish we got a whole bunch of new guys since the last storm 10 years ago that don't know how to plow. I mean, the plow guys, it is horrendous around here.
You just made the preeminent motion. I guess, up by me, these guys suck this year. I watched the guy. I parked my FJ in front of my driveway because I don't want them plowing in my driveway. And if they plowed up to it, fine. I'll go around or I'll go over it. But from my driveway, I got my neighbor's house out to the other road, and he was backed into my block. All he had to do was cut in front of me and plow right out. He didn't do it on either side of the street. And I thought it was just my street. But now that I'm out driving around on the side streets, I see most of them are like that. They just went down the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Fucking guys, it's a joke.
Yeah,
it was insane. Let's see here. Tuesday night we had a regional or district meeting, so I had to go down to Annapolis, and on the way there, I said, "Oh, I'll stop by Walmart and check for Hot Wheels," and so I go into this Walmart, and it has a huge parking lot. This parking lot, like most of those places, it's just, you could put 200 cars easy, 300 cars in this parking lot, and I get in there and they plowed out like 25 spots and they put all these lines all over the parking lot. Instead of
really
doing the parking lot, they just put like these big, X's or squares so that you could drive down to these parts. So they had all these people like parking and all these, it was just like unbelievable. And of course, people then would pull off and it's all ice, after the by the second day, by the time it freezes, refreezes, thaws and
right.
It's just ice. And I was like, how in the world, what is wrong with people? We still have places here, businesses that don't even have the parking lot plowed.
Oh God.
Oh wow.
I don't even know how I don't even know how they could be in, I don't know how they are in business. I don't know how they can stay in business. And I'm like, I don't understand the mentality of all this, but it's crazy. I'm just hoping that I know normally around here we have a snow. The next day we get out in the low 30s and a lot of shit melts. But this stuff is sticking around. This ain't going nowhere.
No, because you're exactly right. We're not, it's not going to get warm for a week, and that's the problem. You'll get a warm day. Even now, just with the sun, I'm getting these icicles that are coming off my roof that are down across the window. I'm afraid of it, getting up under the, that's how you get an ice dam. It gets
Right.
up under the shingles. The next thing you know, it's in your house.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm afraid of. But the problem is then you get these warm, and that's now with everything else frozen around it. The sun is that warm. But, when this stuff starts melting, great. I mean, people talking about it in the news now. Oh, people were, they were saying at the one Hicksville train station, there was the sidewalks weren't plowed and people were trying to slog through the slush. I was like, no, you asshole. It's not slush. It's not slush until it goes slosh, slosh, slosh. It's fucking ice.
Yeah.
And it's crunch, crunch, crunch. It's hard ice. So
Everybody around here is walking with axe picks and then what was the other? I saw a guy swinging an axe pick and a pick and an axe. It was he had two different. He was busting up the stuff.
They're just frustrated bikers,
Yeah.
I get their axe handles. But I said the problem is when it does become slush and has nowhere to go. All right, now it's a mess. But overnight, when it temperature drops out, refreezes in the morning, you have ice again. So you go through that vicious cycle of slush and ice and slush and ice. I mean, there's one little piece of property between my driveway and my neighbors, and a lot of times there'd be a big pile of snow there. And there's years where I've actually dug a tunnel through it because on the other side of her driveway is the drain, the water drain, and the water on my side has nowhere to go if it can't get there. So I've actually dug a tunnel through that thing in the past.
Yeah. And of course it was funny because I was lucky, I guess I've gotten better as I've aged, because like the snowblower, because I had ran it empty and just had some stable poured in there, so, got everything all started. Everything started up, put fresh gas in, everything started up and ran, and fired the generator up in case we lost power, and that all worked and everything. And so it was kind of funny because for the dogs, my neighbors probably thought I had lost my mind because I'm out there with the snowblower cleaning off the yard. I cleaned off 6 feet by 10 area. Like I'm out there cutting the grass with a snowblower, all these leaves and shit blowing out.
Yeah.
Make this whole area for them where the grass is. And of course, got the driveway and everything else done. But now the dogs go out and they walk around on that. Then they go climbing on the ice to go do their business. And I was like, look, I made a spot for you guys. And, here they are all sliding around because it's just ice for them now.
We got to get out there and crawl around on all fours and show them.
I'm going to show them all right.
This is what you do, guys. Come on.
So, but I'm sure it was kind of funny. I wish I had I don't know. Maybe I should go back and look at the camera on the house, but because it was just throwing leaves and whatever greeno out the front with the snowblower. It's kind of funny cutting the grass with a snowblower.
Yeah.
So I got a snowblower at the house, and I forgot to winterize it and get it ready for the winter. And my daughter called and said, "Oh, we got so much snow," and I was like, "Oh, get the snowblower out." Well, it wouldn't start. My boyfriend couldn't get it started, so I dropped the ball on that one.
Because honestly, really, I might have used it maybe once, but it was kind of funny how Facebook comes up with your history or memory, because literally it was 10 years exactly from the last storm from 2016 when we had all the snow. It was almost it was one day off compared to when we had the big back-to-back snow bomb or whatever they called it.
It was another bomb cyclone. I had it on my account. So let me ask you guys a question, because this is where I think I dropped the ball. I happen to really like. I have this 21-inch 4-stroke snowblower, and it's got the neoprene blades on it. So it's really it's not good for heavy, slushy, wet snow. They're not made for that. But anything else, and it'll do up to. I did 10 inches with this thing. If it's light, it's a beast, and but it has its limitations. So I also had bought years ago a big Craftsman 2-stage giant thing that'll walk me down the block. It's
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, we had a really big snow. It had to be four years ago, and I was clearing the street like I need to do now, but can't do. And I was using the big machine, and I think I stopped for a second, let it run. I turned to get the shovel or whatever. I look, and the freaking engine's on fire. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
I threw some snow at it. It laughed at me. I ran in the garage, grabbed the fire extinguisher, put it out, and said, wow, what the hell was that all about? So it was kind of the end of the season anyway. So I looked into it. I took it apart. I've had parts sitting here by my desk for 4 years. And because one of them was the carburetor. I think the fuel line had ruptured. So I looked into buying a carburetor, and I had the part number. So I looked at the Craftsman part, and it was either super expensive, like $95 or $150 or whatever. But then Amazon, it kept coming up with Chinese equivalents for like $12, $18. And looking at the picture, it wasn't exactly the same. So I like it to be, I want it to be correct. And I didn't buy it. So I was just telling my wife this story today. She's looking at me like you're nuts. I said, so we haven't needed it for 4 years. I haven't needed the big snowblower. And of course, when I do need it, I can't use it. But I said, now, since then, I've watched a lot of people on YouTube who have small engine channels. In fact, we got this guy now who follows Motormouth Radio, Kenny Small Engine. He's called, he's talked about it. Chicanik has talked about it. A lot of people have, and they've addressed that issue and said, and even she said, because she's got a shop in Georgia, she says, yeah, I like using the OEM stuff, but I've been buying these $12 carburetors. She goes, and they work great, usually. And if they don't, I just get another one. So now I'm saying, I told her, I said, so what the hell was I waiting for? So I finally, just now, I took the carburetor, I took the tag off that had the part number on it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to order a carburetor.
Just do yourself a favor and order 2.
I thought about that. So the question is, what do you guys think? Have any of you guys used those carburetors? Now, this isn't the cube style like you'd find on a weed whacker. It's just a mini.
Right. I got one. It was for a go-kart. And I got one, and like you said, it was something like $12.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this will never work. Put it on, little twist turn here, it ran. It was like, okay. And I had another buddy of mine. He said, oh yeah, I always asked him. He did a lot of small engine stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, all that Amazon stuff. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I just ordered 2. He said, if I need a part, if something's not right on one, I put the other over. That's not, and I got all the parts that I need. I could make it work.
I was just saying that to too. I said, the picture,
$25 in or whatever, or whatever it was.
I just said the picture wasn't the same. I said, but now I know better. They could have used a generic picture too.
Yeah.
So, I was probably my own worst enemy as usual because I was looking for something that was correct. So.
Yeah,
I'm going to order it tomorrow morning. I'll find out what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, because that was I have a generator, and I had that one. That was in the shed first, and that one came from. They had it's a fairly big generator, but what the people that had it, their thought was, oh, we just keep gas in it, and when we need it, it has gas in it, it will work. Yeah, well, they never used it, and literally you couldn't get it started. The gas had with the ethanol in it was just destroyed. I mean, it just destroyed everything inside the generator, and they were going to throw it away. And of course, me, a hoarder, I was like, oh, I'll take it. And I had it, I had something very similar to, like you said, Ray. I couldn't find a picture that look like it. I didn't want, I was like,
right.
man, they only want like, $9 for this carburetor, but I don't want to pay $9 and it not be right.
Right.
Not
what
that
stopped me.
way. Huh?
That's what stopped me. And
So
I
I still had my other generator. I still have another, a 45 cc, 4,500 cc. I still have another big generator, but that was behind it. So I went ahead and dug that out. But I had thought the same thing. I was like, man, and I was like, well, actually, what happened was Molly, they're in their new house. They actually lost power.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll get this generator. Maybe I'll order a carb and get it fixed, and that way they can have it if they ever need it.
Right.
It's one of those things around here. If you have it, you'll never need it.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, always. So that exactly, that was my exact same problem. And then I thought, like you kind of just said, I don't have a lot of this stuff around, but I probably have enough of it around where I could cobble something together and and make it work. So
Put that Hillborn injection from the Pontiac on it.
right. Again,
Yeah.
my own worst enemy. It's always the case.
Mhm.
We'll
What's up,
get-
Coach Keith?
You drink a 6-pack of beer,
Okay.
and take the aluminum cans, and then take them all together and make a manifold, and we'll get that all hooked up right there. Come on.
And they'll have to make a turbo de-icer for Keith because he had a little frost on his window today.
Yeah, a little. Keith. We're talking about you, Keith.
Oh, I felt so bad seeing that.
I think he froze.
I hope he is frozen. Yeah, probably is. Cold for him. He forgets what it's like being up here. Isaac, forget about it. You don't even know what it's like being up here. You're the luckiest one.
Coach, I was just telling him how cold it gets at night here, man. It gets chilly.
Yeah, I was listening to
Yeah,
that.
boo hoo.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a weird, like Lewis was saying, it is such a weird drop because it can be warm in the morning and then get chilly at night. And I know, like he said, it's in the 50s right now, which sounds about right. Usually by the morning, it's here. I have frost in the windows is normal. It's so it's around mid to low 30s. Probably about 10-15 years ago, we had a God, it might have even been before that, but we had in the middle of February, we had where it hit 19 degrees. And I found out my mixture and my radiator wasn't wasn't proper because
Yeah. Oh, God.
everything in my radiator froze, and it took me what normally takes me about maybe 20 to 30 minutes to get to work. Well, the place I was working at the time, it took me probably 45 minutes to an hour because I'd probably get a few blocks and then it would start to overheat and I'd have to pull off the road, pop the hood, and it would cool off really fast. And then and when I got to work, I had to park my truck. I had to back it in facing south with the hood up so the sun could hit all that and try to de-ice all my stuff. And by the time I went home, it did break up enough of that slush and ice in my radiator, but it still took a little while for it to warm up.
Oh, yeah. I have a problem with the old Cruise with the Ecotech. You know how I love the Ecotech cooling system. Well, last week it was funny. We went out, did some shopping. I came home and I thought I just smelled the slightest whiff of antifreeze.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah,
I hate.
and I should know better because I said, "Oh, that's weird." Going out the next day. Now I'm sick. I got sick fast after the show last week. I was telling Lewis I was a mess. Today's the first day I'm actually halfway human, if you can call it that. But my wife takes the car out, goes local, comes back. She says, got a problem. Like what? Car's got no heat. Like no heat. So we just used it yesterday. It was fine. I said, let me go out there. So I opened the hood, and the engine is sprayed
Oh
with
wow.
Wow.
antifreeze. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I smelled it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I closed the hood.
That's how you fix it. Just close it.
Yep.
Go back inside.
Throw a match in it.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we're going to be leaving here on the 7th,
Okay.
heading your way. So I'm going to bring your hat,
Okay.
and then we can meet up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's coming out nice, man. I'm having a good time making them.
Yeah, I've been following your posts on it. It looks really, really good.
I was watching it today. Yeah, cutting the hole, doing that. It's. Yeah, I like the way you had the camera up high. That
was cool.
that was very interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to be bougie, be
Yeah.
a little more professional.
Yeah. You're doing it. You are doing
So what broke in the cruise? Some plastic line or something?
Well, everything in there is plastic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So now I was really pretty sick. So I see on the driver's side, the left side of the engine, the air tube comes in, and I just saw fluid, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. So I start the car, and it comes pouring out of the bottom of this plastic housing with the hoses in it, the temp sensor. I was like, fuck, the thermostat. And I changed that thermostat twice years ago. I'm like, damn, I must have cracked, or maybe the seal went bad. I don't know. So I go to the parts store, I order one. That was actually before the weekend. I didn't pick it up till yesterday. And now that I was feeling a little better this morning, I took out my file on the car. I wanted to see when I changed it last. And I took out the service manual, and I'm looking through that too. And I say, wait a minute, service manuals tell me on the 1.4 the thermostat is on the water pump. Water pump is on the right side of the engine, on the driver's side. I know because I changed the water pump like 2 summers ago. I'm like, damn, but that looks like a thermostat housing. So then I start looking, and I said, wait a minute. I went into my phone, I look at my pictures, and I saw the pictures where I did the water pump and the thermostat. And then there were a couple of the pictures. Then there was the next set of pictures of the cruise where I changed this plastic water neck on that left side of the engine. That's what it was. It's got like 3 or 4 hoses coming out of it in the temperature sensor. It's not the thermostat, but it is a water housing. I'm like, that's what it is. It's the water housing. I was like, oh shit, I'm thinking it was the thermostat. Now I heard the road. My buddy's coming. They're going to tow the car tomorrow to the shop. I said to him, look, we're going to tow it to the shop. I'm not doing this outside. We're going to get this inside.
Do they have a metal replacement part?
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yes, they do. And I went online today. I said, I got to find this thing fast. And I found a aluminum replacement.
Yeah.
It's some Chinese company because
Yeah,
I've been buying
plastic.
and trust me, I've been buying nothing but GM parts for this car because I put a Dorman valve cover on it and it failed. I put a Dorman thermostat in it, it failed. So I've been buying nothing but GM stuff. So this time I said, screw it. It's an aluminum housing. It was like
Right.
$24. Send it. But it's slated to come like Saturday. And like I got to do the job Saturday. So hopefully it'll come early enough. And
Yeah, it might be one of the times that Chinesium is better than Plastesium.
Plastic. Yeah.
I hope so. I'll check it for straightness. It's got a 3-bolt flange on it, so I will check it for straightness, and I'll get to use my internal torque sockets that I got from Brian that I don't use all too often, but I'll get to use them.
That's one of them situations. Too bad you don't know somebody that has a CNC machine, and
Yeah,
you can. And two, if it's a shop that does a lot of work, you could almost probably take a scrap block of aluminum and have it made out of that.
it's pretty interesting because you'd have to bore it out and all too. So Brian, that leads a question that I want to ask you. All of the external torque sockets that I have are all shallow. Do they make deep versions of those?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you got to get into a housing with the recess, the short socket, the wider body of the socket gets in the way. So a longer socket would work.
Yeah, because that's like a. Thought I had some down here.
What, the screw, the bolt?
No, the
Oh, the socket.
long, internal or e-sockets or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought that might have been. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I thought that was another one. Well, I guess. Yeah, but no, when you said heat, I remember I was like, oh, I left the heat on in the truck.
Oh.
And it was out there, just the propane running along.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Coach, I went out to the range today, and I was going to take your hat out there and shoot a hole in it for where. I was like, nah, I better not do that.
What caliber were you going to use?
I took. I only got three guns with me. I got a 30 or 380, a 9mm, and a Shockwave shotgun. That's all I have with me.
Okay. I'm thinking a nice 5.56. You know,
I didn't want to travel across country. With it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I know you're going state to state. You got reciprocity issues.
Yeah.
How do you handle your storage when you're traveling? How did you set that up in the bus?
Everything's unloaded, and I separate everything just like you do in your car.
And did you lock it up? Lock the stuff up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do the same thing.
I have a small safe.
Well, because there's a football player, I don't remember his name or who he plays for, just got nailed at LaGuardia.
Mm-hmm.
He came into this, he was flying out, and he declared to TSA that he had his handgun in a lockbox, unloaded, in his luggage. And they went and examined it, and they gave him some grief, and he showed them. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He didn't show him TSA, or that was something I saw on one of the gun channels. Well, they called the police, and they arrested him.
Yeah.
And they arrested him for having an unlawfully possessed handgun in New York City, not being licensed. He's licensed in Wisconsin, in his home state. Mm-hmm. And he said, I did the right thing. I told him it was there, and it was secured the way they want it secured. So,
well, I've heard that you can declare it and everything and have it legal, but when you land in New York City or New York, it's voided.
You're illegal. Yeah. If you land in New York and get off the plane and claim your luggage, you're now in possession and you're illegal. Mm-hmm. So they didn't say what the whole story was. He had to be in New York. Now I don't know if he had a connecting flight, because a lot of the gun channels I watched brought this up and said, well, what if you're forced onto a connecting flight and you have to go down to LaGuardia before you can go out to another state? You didn't choose to do that. So technically you shouldn't be in violation, but technically you are. And they said, I saw another piece, and his lawyer said, I think he's due back in court in March. I'm going to follow it because they said they feel he'll be exonerated. It won't be he wasn't carrying it, and it wasn't loaded, and it was
done right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, even if I want to travel somewhere, if I want to fly out and I go to JFK and claim I'm licensed here, but I'm not licensed in the city. So technically I'm illegal in the city, but I have to fly out of the city. So, that question comes up too. And
just have to go everywhere from MacArthur.
Well, that's one way of doing it, right? That's one way of doing it.
From MacArthur.
But you follow the TSA rule, and that was what he said. He said, well, listen, I'm following the TSA regulation. They said, yeah, but this is a state regulation. It overrides the TSA. Like, really?
They
make the rules as they go. Yeah, they make up the rules as they go.
But the problem is he has to pay a lawyer. He has to pay, it holds him up on time. Yeah. That's all they want is the money.
Yeah, if he gets exonerated, he still loses because of everything he has to pay to get it squared away. And
plus, even on a smaller note, they confiscated the gun.
Yeah.
So they have to clear that, and he has to get it back. So they're not going to give it to him, because as soon as he takes possession of it, he's illegal again. So they would have to ship it probably at his expense back to his home state or wherever,
Yep.
because New York has reciprocity with nobody.
Nobody.
Friendly state that we are.
Yeah, I'd love to hear how that comes out, but I also find it interesting because I didn't read the article, but I saw it flash, on the news feed,
Yeah.
and of course it's NFL player gets is arrested and charged with
gun. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like that. That's not the. I mean, if it leads, it bleeds. They're trying to go for headlines that get your attention, but it's like now this guy's got a black mark on him that he shouldn't have.
Right.
He did the right thing. He tried to do the right thing, and now he's got, because most people will hear or just look at that headline and make their assumption.
And truthfully, I mean, I think what he should have done, because it's New York, I don't know where he was or where he was coming from or where he was going, but wherever he was going, he should have gone to a gun store and had an FFL ship it to another gun store, pay it. It's like, I mean, last time I sold a gun to a friend in Florida, it was like $60, to have them do the transfer, to have them ship it down.
Yeah.
So that would be the way to do it, I think. So yeah, I'll be following it. And like I said, the channels I watch have been following it. So when I hear something, I'll let you know. Hopefully it'll turn out okay for him.
Yeah. That's just so horrible. It really is.
Oh yeah.
So how was that range you went to?
Oh, it was nice. It was in I don't know the name of the place. It's not far from courtside. It's about a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Buell, something like that.
Buell?
Yeah. That sound right? Oh, let me look up on the map.
I'm not as familiar with that part of the state, so anything sounds right.
It's on Route 72. Yeah, Bouse. That's how you spell it.
Booze.
So from an expert who knows, that's called the New York City 5-borough law. Apparently, you're only legal in the 5 boroughs if you're in the 5 boroughs. And I've been told that where I am on the island, since I am legal, I can license in the 5 boroughs, but nobody seems to know how to do it. I've been putting feelers out every chance I get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even that I would be in that situation too much, but I just would like to have it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I firmly believe, like, there's a lot of states where it's constitutional carry, like South Carolina, Florida, and Masoub Ali did a big video on this. He says, you know what? He goes, I know people that carry that way, and Ohio is constitutional also, right, Lewis?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And he said, why people won't go out and get the state license, I don't know. He says, I know that they're legal, being constitutional, but he says, when you have the piece of paper or the card,
go to other states.
He goes, and you have, there's your justification. And I would 100% do that.
Oh, yeah.
Without
my license is good in, I think, 40 states, maybe?
States. Yeah, you're good in 40 states. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I always keep mine up. Like some of my friends, they let their license go. They're like, oh, we don't need it anymore. I'm like, well, if you go over to Pennsylvania, you need it because they honor it.
Right.
Yeah, and that the whole thing with New York and the 5-borough law that you said and all that, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but I understand that that's what they have in your state. It makes no sense, or it's odd to me, because here you can go anywhere.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, if it's posted, they don't want you having it inside.
Right.
You go secure it, and that's their prerogative. But outside of that, pretty much everywhere in the state you can go. The only one, and I think it was my son. I have to check with him, but check if it was him, because he stays up to date on all that stuff. But Tombstone used to have. So if you watch the movie Tombstone, where they made the city rule, you can't come into town with a firearm. You have to check it.
Mhm.
That's still on the books and that's still active.
Oh, wow.
So that's like, I think the only place in Arizona that there's something like different. However, he was telling me, I think he was telling me something that's not, it holds no water. It's still on the book, but it holds no water because of the state, where the states.
State overrides it. But you know, now when they do litigation now, I mean, the Bruen decision changed everything. But they go back to historical, historical content. Where was it in history? When did it change in history? If it was after, it's a date. It's either a late 1700s or early 1800s date. If it wasn't on the books at that point forward, anywhere, then you can't apply it now. It does not apply because it doesn't apply to the time. There's a phraseology for it too that I also forget.
Yeah.
So I don't deal with it every day. So when I hear it, I know it, but I don't remember it. So that tombstone thing, they would use that. They'd say, well, when was that put in effect? And if it was before that date, it would be negated. But if it was from that date forward, they would use that as the marker to decide if it would still stand today.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. In fact, I know it was him because I think he was down there not too long ago, and he said something about either carrying or, and I said, well, hey, you remember? And he said, no, that something changed with that. I'll have to ask him because, like I said, that stuff he stays up to date.
and that's the thing with the reciprocity. I mean, even where I am, I can be anywhere on the island and far away from, but the border is close to me, and I know people there, and I do things there, and literally you cross the street, you're in Queens, and now you're illegal. So that imaginary line, it'll get you every time. Now obviously you cross the line, a buzzer doesn't go off, lights don't flash. I mean, you have to be
you have to
doing something, obviously. But and that's where the HR 238 is, the National Reciprocity Bill, which is in the House right now. It's been in for years. It keeps getting modified and reissued, and it's in again. And they were saying every time it comes in, gets a little more teeth, a little more bite. And Trump has said if it hits his desk, he'll sign it.
Yeah.
So nationally, you're good, because the argument is that time and memoriam law, plus it's a common sense thing. They say, well, you have a driver's license, it's good in 50 states.
Yeah.
You can drive anywhere in 50 states and no one's going to say boo. So why wouldn't your gun permit be good in 50 states? It's also, you guys haven't had that, certainly not Lewis, but I've had to go through more background checks, mental checks. I mean, you can't imagine. I don't even know all the stuff they've put me through. I passed them all because I know I'm clean, obviously, or I wouldn't have gotten where I am now. So, I'm not a threat to society, apparently, because I really haven't done anything to prove that.
Right.
You can say that otherwise, and we can talk about it. But
we went over to California a couple days ago, 2 days ago. Man, I was sweating bullets, man. I had to lock everything up, separated it. I was like, man, this is terrible.
Yeah. I saw you posted a video about something going to California, and I'm going, why would you do that?
So what happens in California? Are you good in California, Lewis? Are you?
No.
You're not. Okay, I didn't think
Not
so.
at all.
That's why one of the trips back, my wife was saying, "Oh, let's lay over in Maryland." I said, "No." I said, "I'd love to be there, Brian." I said, "But we can't go in Maryland."
Yeah.
He said, "They're worse than us." So
Yeah,
we're going to Virginia.
Yeah, so we were just in Blythe. It's just over the border. But still, you got to go through a checkpoint. They wave you through, man, but I was still sweating. Like, oh, man. They're going to ask me, do I have a gun? I'm going to have to tell them. They're going to search stuff.
Yeah.
I had it all taken apart, and separated. But, man, still a sucky feeling.
Yeah, California is somewhat similar to New York. So it's they're pretty stringent over there. It's there are it is a bit lax in some ways, I guess, but for the most part it's not. And there are legal ways that you can go across but I like my cousin's dealt with it. She lives in San Diego, and they've come over here, and obviously it's easier here. But then going back, and I don't remember what all the details are. There is some things there, but it's different. And then too, you have to have everything separated. You have to have
Right.
Something in the spare tire, something under the battery, something,
Well, it has to be far enough apart where you can't put them together quick. So like in a car, it'll be in the trunk, and the weapon may be locked in the box in the trunk, and the ammo could be in the back seat or in
in the glove
like,
box.
they recognize that people have SUVs that are one compartment,
Yeah.
and then you just have to separate it, as far as possible. I thought of you, Isaac, because I was going to be a wise ass, and I thought of you when I was down at the hospital in North Carolina. Baby was being delivered, and I wasn't carrying down. I didn't bring a gun on that trip, but at the desk, they had a sign outside the hospital, no weapons, and they had a sign on the desk. They showed a gun and a knife, and it was a big Bowie knife. It was a real, like a 1911 and a Bowie knife. It's like, man,
I've seen those.
And it says, no weapons beyond this point. And you got to check in, show them your license. They do a retina scan. They take a picture of you. You put it on you got a label that you put on. So I wanted to ask the lady, like, oh, this sign here is like, do you have a locker? Can I lock my stuff up here? Or I think, nah, don't be a dick. Just go upstairs and see my daughter. But I wanted to ask her.
Well, I thought about being a wise ass when you said you right by the border, because I'm right by the border, but it's a whole different border.
Right.
And actually, it's so stringent down there. Obviously, Mexico's a whole different country, but
oh yeah.
There was a guy, I want to say this was in the early 2000s. It might have been in the late 90s. There was a guy that went across. He was there. His plan was he was there for the day or maybe spending the night, whatever they were doing. And at some point he realized he didn't, if I remember the story correctly, he didn't have his guns. He knew he was smart enough, leave your guns at home, whatever. But he had a box of ammunition or something like that. But it was ammunition. They had gone shooting, and I don't think it was loose rounds in the car. Like they had. So out here, sometimes you go out to the desert, you'll go shooting. If you have an SUV like a Blazer, where the back has a tailgate, a lot of times guys will spread out their stuff right there. And in the events through the day, you might get a round that gets loose and it's
falls down into
something. And so I don't remember if it was that or if it was a box of ammo. But when he realized it, he declared it, and they immediately locked him up.
Oh,
and
wow.
he was there for, I want to say, 3 to 6 months.
Jeez.
with I don't know if it was senators or what, but political officials from our state trying to work with Mexico to get him released. It was all over the news down here. And I don't remember if he was from Tucson or Phoenix. It might have been Phoenix, but regardless, I mean, it was news across the state. And remember, when you go over there, don't take your firearms. Well, the guy he did everything responsible that he could.
Right.
And it was just one little thing. And he realized it, and he declared it to, here, take it. I don't even want it. Take it.
Here, they don't account for honest mistakes.
No.
So there's another story. There's a channel called Guns and Gadgets I watch, big 2A channel. And the guy, he travels all over the country. He goes to the SHOT Show. He goes to all the different shows across the country. Very proactive 2A guy. And he said he travels with his guns a lot. And he was talking about this thing with the football player. So he said what happened to him. He said, I'm not going to tell you where I was or where I was going to. I'm going to leave the names out of it. But I was at an airport, and I checked my luggage, checked my gun like I always do with TSA. And they have the right to open it and double check, which they do a lot. He goes, I have no problem with that. So he had the gun, slide open, locked. He had the magazine, because the rules state you can have bullets in the magazine as long as it's out of the gun. And they gigged him on that. And they said, well, no, this ammunition isn't correct. He says, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's got to be in the factory cardboard box that it came.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, well, no. And he had the TSA, carries the TSA regulations with him because he's in so many different airports. And he says, it doesn't say that here. It says just the magazine has to be removed if you have bulk ammo. And he said it happened to him a couple times. The story's kind of blurred, but he said a few times they confiscated the ammo. He says it was expensive ammo. This guy could afford to use the real good stuff, the underwood and whatever. And he says, I lost a bunch of ammo. He says they couldn't take the gun or anything. He says, but because they just, again, their local jurisdiction, they said, overrode the TSA regulation.
Yeah. See, I think it goes by airlines too. Every airline has a different set of rules.
That's what he said. And he said he was with Delta at the time. And he said, when I got to where I was going, I canceled my return flight on Delta and I went United. He says, because they changed the rule, like overnight, they changed the rule on me. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. That, and then too, you might end up with somebody, yes, they changed the rule, but something that you may end up with somebody that they just want to get their hands on stuff.
Yeah. Because
they're human beings and we're all flawed and some of us are more flawed or shiesty than others.
Sure.
And I mean, that's one of the things in Mexico is they're very shiesty down there.
Oh, yeah.
I know of a guy that told me he went down there to just on the other side. He was just down there for the day, shopping around and stuff. And when he parked his truck and he went to some shops, when he came back, his truck was gone. He went down to the police station to file a report. And as they took him around the side or something, he looked and he goes, that's my truck right there. Your guys are outfitting it. That's my truck. It was the police that stole his truck because they wanted to add it to their fleet.
Yeah.
It was a Chevy pickup. It was like a Silverado 4-wheel drive. And and I was like, get out of here. And he's like, no, I swear to God. He goes, and then they kicked me out of there and threatened to arrest me.
Sure.
And he's like, I had to get across the border. Now in Nogales sits on both sides of the border. You have Nogales, Mexico, and Nogales, Arizona. So he was still in the town or city of Nogales. He had to make his way and walk across the border, call for a ride, filed a report. But if I remember correctly, he never got his truck back, or there was a lot of red tape. And again, having our government involved, if he did get his truck back, I don't think he did.
So, all right, I want to do something now that's unprecedented on this show, on my show. We'll change subjects and talk about cars.
All right, cool.
That's what I came for.
Brian, it made me think of you. I was watching the other day in the middle of the day because I've been doing nothing but watching TV, sitting in my chair. I caught the guys by you in Maryland, the Damascus guys. Whatever the hell the name of their show is, I don't know.
Damascus Motors.
No, that's not the name of the show though. The name of the show is based on the Junkyard. Right?
Yeah, Junkyard Kings.
Yeah. So one of the side projects they were showing was one of the guys that works at the shop. He showed that he's doing a side project for a friend, and the guy had bought a, I'm pretty sure it was a long bed Dodge diesel pickup. And what they were going to do is he was going to work on it after his day shift, and they were going to make it a short bed. So what they did was remove the bed, and the C channel frames on those things have to be, I don't know, what is it, like 8-10 inches tall? Yeah. So he showed how they were going to cut like 16 inches out, and then move it forward, weld it, and then plate it. This way the bed would fit. And he does that, finds some problems with the mounting points. Then what they found out is with the bed on, it was all jacked up. It looked crazy with the dimensions. So, of course, his buddy shows up. Oh, well, guess what? I just happened to bring over this lowering kit, which for the front and rear. And I tell you, when they were done, they brought it to the shop and sprayed it. This really nice. It wasn't a root beer color. It was like a raspberry. It was like a redder with a lot of with gold metallic in it. It was really sharp. Put some black custom wheels on it. And now the whole truck was lowered 3 inches in the front, 5 in the back. and they never made a short bed is what it was. So
Right.
such a cool looking truck. But watching these guys do the truck work reminded me of when I had to work on the flatbed and the tow truck, and everything is like sledgehammers, and it was just trying to remove stuff is like everything is a fight. I'm watching these guys saying, yeah, these guys, they're like maybe late 20s, early 30s. Those are the guys who should be doing that work. It reminds me why I shouldn't be, because that work is tough.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. But the truck came out really cool. So, and on another note, going back to the last snowstorm, which is like last month, we had a lot of slush on the road, and I drove the Mazda to the radio station, and it sat there. You know, when I was there on the way home, I guess the slush that I had kicked up under the wheels kind of semi-froze. And on the way home, it was like I swear, like having either felt like the lug nuts were loose on the wheel, or I had like a totally wiped out axle bearing, because I had this like thump, 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 thump. I'm like, damn, it's the slush behind the wheel that's doing that. And I don't know how many, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced it and didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
Brought it into the shop, and all he did was took a pry bar and like chunked it out and said, yeah, your car's fixed, give me $200.
Yeah.
But, that's a real thing, man. It's quite a feeling when you feel that imbalance.
I've had in between the rear tires on my tool truck.
Oh yeah.
I've had stuff get stuck, a snow blob of crap, ice, get stuck in between the two tires.
Right.
And when you're driving, you're like, man, what is that? It's like the weirdest feeling.
Sure.
And, another one is when the stuff on the box loosens up, the snow on top of the truck, when it loosens up and you hit a bump or move and that moves with it, and all of a sudden you feel the back of the truck and you're like, what the hell?
Right.
Because that weight is shifting
right
at a different time than the truck is. So it really feels it's
Or how about
a
like
weird
you
feeling.
hit the brakes and all of a sudden it just flies off the roof?
I wish it was easier to get
Yeah.
off, but how cold it's been here,
nothing's moving. Yeah.
nothing's moving. It's like I took I looked at it when I had it backed up, and I looked out the living room window. It's broken, and it's like broken in the center, and it's broken off in like 6 spots. It's got these big chunks, and you could see. Of course, we haven't. Like I said, normally it warms up, and you can really feel it move around, and I can find an empty spot to do that. Because when that shit comes off, it makes a hell of a mess.
So that was something I thought about. I was sitting in the parking lot yesterday. My wife was at the store, and I'm waiting for her. And there was a big delivery truck, a big box truck, but it was like a big box truck.
Yeah.
And I could see all the ice on top of it. And I'm thinking, it is law in most states that you have to clean the roof of your vehicle, but you can't get up there. And I mean, I know when I climb up to do the FJ, it's always a guaranteed I'm going to fall on my ass, because I climb on the back step, I climb on the bumper, sometimes I climb on the spare tire, and one of those moves, I'm falling. I do it all the time. So this week I didn't feel like falling because I was sick.
Some truck stops have things where you go under and it has it cleans off your semi truck.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so there is a method. Now, where would you find something like that if you had a big truck like that?
A major truck stop.
Yeah.
All right. So like around here, there are no major truck stops. There's no truck stops, period.
Yeah, the closest one to you is in New Jersey when you cross the border.
Yeah. The Molly Thayer rest
Somewhere
stop.
in there, yeah.
What's the name of that rest stop, Jim?
Molly Pitcher.
Molly Pitcher. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's with the semi-retired? What's going on?
I don't know yet. That's the problem. Actually,
is it wishful thinking?
yeah, because I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Technically, I'm still working,
Okay.
but tomorrow will be my last day.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
For the second first, what is this going to be a monthly thing with you, Jim? Or
What happens on Monday?
they're going to call you back on the 1st and then let you go on the 15th?
No, they ain't calling me back. I actually went in and met went to the office on Wednesday and found out they had a bunch of people they let go.
Okay.
It was like, so yeah, there's no getting back.
So were you a regular full-time employee or more like a
Oh
consultant?
yeah, no, I was full time.
So you've been excessed.
Yeah, actually, they eliminated my position.
So you did retire.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope you were set up to do that.
I was not.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Because I mean, I'm fortunate to fall into the category of what guys have told me, like, you retire, it'd be great. You make more money when you're retired than you do when you were working. I am.
Really?
Only because of my eye in the sky who's watching the show right now, who turned me on to a good retirement guy who I put all my money with that I was banking for like 40 years with the college, transferred it over to another guy who, bumped it up. I've been drawing on it for 2 years, and now my balance is higher than when I started. Because he's doing the right thing.
Nice.
So
That's nice.
and that's you got to really I said to myself, okay, I can stick with the system I have, which is tried and true. Many people have used it. It works. It's good. They've made money. I said, but who do I know, who I trust, who I know, locally, who knows how to manage money? And there were like 3 people that came to mind, and I asked each of them what their thoughts were, and I followed this one. I followed along with it. The argument was strong enough, and I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to do this, and I'm happy I did, because it was a way to go. So, yeah, unfortunately, you didn't have that availability. So what are you going to do? You're going to look for something? Or you're going to?
Yeah, I'm in the process of looking now, but prospects are not good. That's for sure.
Would you look like with the state?
State's hiring freeze.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
I contact. I do have a few contacts in some of the state agencies, and they were like, "Yeah, no." One of the agencies, they put a package out there. They're like, "Listen, we want a few people to like take this, and we'll give you this, that, and the other thing, and just go." And the 40 people took that. So
yeah.
So there's nothing there.
I worked with a guy at the college years ago who was he was out of Hop Hog, transportation out of Hop Hog, and he was teaching, and he would always tell us when there was openings, whatever people might want to go over, but I guess everything is tough. So what exactly, like, how do I phrase it? Like, what kind of job are you looking for? Like, what is the qualification that gets you in? Like,
Well, I'm big with computers and electronics.
So that's broad.
Yeah, I'm doing electronic tolling for 30 years.
Right.
So that's the tolling. I don't have the automatic cameras, red light cameras, and stuff like that.
Right.
There's new stuff coming up called connected vehicle. Traffic management is a really big thing now. They got stuff like all those signs you see where they list how long it takes to get to wherever you're going.
Yes.
That's that is roadside stuff. That's the state-owned stuff uses your Easy Pass tag.
That's what I was going to ask. I thought it was off Easy Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, but Google uses your phone.
Right. For location. Yeah.
Right.
There's a guy who worked for me at the college, and he went on to work for UL for many years doing product testing and all, but now he's working. I had him on the show about a year ago. He was working for a company that was doing wireless. Was it wireless charging? Yeah, I think he did something. He actually went over to Europe and got training because they were using it over there. So when the vehicles would drive in the correct lane, they could wirelessly charge. So buses and trains,
Yeah.
and but it could work for cars too. And they were thinking of implementing it. I don't know how they would ever do it here. And I asked him, how are they going to do it here on Long Island? But he says, no, well, they have some plans in place and they're doing studies and all. Put out a feeler for you, see if he's I don't even know if he's still doing it, to tell you the truth.
Hey, I'll take anything I can get right now.
Mm.
What a sad thing that happens though, especially in and around New York, is they'll get this big thing, put everything together, they'll install it, and it'll work fine and dandy. Then nobody maintains it,
Oh yeah, right.
and it just dies a slow, painful death.
Yeah, you need service. Yeah.
Because on a few occasions with the traffic management stuff was installed, 10, 15 years ago, and they call us up and say, hey, how come it's not working? We'll go look and like, well, first of all, the stuff's 20 years old. Second, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, and you got no power.
Yeah.
You guys may want to think about maintaining it.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
little
it's,
prerequisite there.
That's a big thing. That's what that's one of the big things down here with our metro system, because they had this thing on there about some of the switch trackers and the computer system is literally 50 years old. I mean, this stuff is it's like having a VCR, and they're like, dude, they don't, none of this stuff, half the stuff didn't work or it isn't working correctly, and they don't have parts for it. And to update it is, it could be done, but it's the cost of the update. That's what burns me. It's like, we all have it on our, your water bill or any of your bills where they have this maintenance fee where they charge where it's supposed to be a maintenance to whatever. And then they say, then you get this letter, oh, we had to increase because we got to put new pipes in. And it's like, well, what have we been paying the maintenance fee for?
Right.
You use that for other stuff. That was your slush fund.
Right.
And that's a big thing I found out here with the snow that we had. One of my buddies that own a shop, he calls and says, hey, dude, to the landlord, hey, in my rental agreement, I'm paying for snow removal. Nobody's been here. And they said, well, I don't have the money for it. Well, it's in the rent. And it's
Right.
like, he goes, look, either you come out here and do this, or I'm going to hire somebody and send you a bill.
Yeah.
Because it's in my contract or it's in my lease that it's in here. And, I know we're still alive, so I have to be careful how I word it, but dude, it's in there. You got to, they're not, it's not all tacos and tequila. You got to manage the money.
Right.
So that's the problem. And it always goes back to the same old thing. People are just selfish and greedy instead of taking care of. That's why we all get ourselves in trouble. I'll stop until we get off air.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, we're going on an hour and a half, so we can do that right now.
Yeah,
Hold on
let's
one
do that. That's a good idea.
Okay, everybody in the chat, thanks for coming to hang out with us on Planning Traffic. And we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. So please tell everybody to subscribe to our channel so we can keep this thing moving. We're on our 11th year, and actually this year will be our 12th year. So let's keep it going and let everybody know we talk about cars. All right, thank you. Have a good night.